today we move to the topic looping. So what is a looping? So looping actually is a fundamental concept in programming where a set of instructions is executed repeatedly based on the condition or a fixed number of time. R is to provide several mechanisms for looping. There are five types in looping. The first type is the for loop. The second one is the nested for loop. The third one is the while loop. The fourth one is the repeated loop. And the last is the next loop. Alright, look at for the first looping. Alright, the types of looping is a for loop. So what is a for loop? For loop is the for loop is used to iterate over a sequence like a vector or list and execute a block of code for each element in the sequence. So you can see here the example for the for loop, right? So the program or the coding for the for loop is a for, and then you need to write the variable in sequence, and then you put the bracket, right, and also the open bracket and also close bracket. So the variable in sequence here is meaning for the variable that takes the value from the sequence in each interaction. Okay, so however the vector here, all right, you can see here the vector is a list over which the loop interact. All right, look at for the second types of looping is a nested for loop. So why we use the looping for the nested is the you imagine you need to handle the multiple data set, and within each data set you have several variables. So you have a several variable because you have a multiple data set. So why we use, if you need to compute the specific statistic for each variable across all data set, a nested loop become an efficient solution. So the outer loop can iterate over data set while the inner loop handle each variable within the current data set. Alright, number 3 is the while loop. Alright, so we use the while loop. The while loop is R is used to execute a block of code repeatedly as long as specific condition is true. It is particularly useful when the number of interaction is not known beforehand, right? So you can see the coding for the while loop. So why we use the while loop and when we use the while loop is the, all right, at the right hand side here we have the while, and then we have the condition, and also we have the open bracket and the close bracket, the curly bracket, open and close. So what is the meaning for the condition here is a logical expression that is evaluated before the executions of the loop body. The loop runs as long as the condition is true. Alright, the next one is the repeat loop. So what is the repeat loop and when we use the repeat loop? Is the repeat loop in R is used to execute a block of code indefinitely until a break statement is encountered. It is useful in situation where the number of interaction is known beforehand, and the loop should continue until a specific condition is met, right? So look at the left hand side here, all right, the programming or the coding for the repeat loop. So when we use the repeat loop, is the repeat and a curly bracket and an open curly bracket, and you need to write the if condition, all right, and again you write in the curly bracket, and you have the break and also the two close curly bracket, and the meaning for the condition is the logical expression. If the true, the break statement is executed, loop terminated. And the last type in looping is the next loop. And alright, so what is the next loop? When we use the next loop, alright, so the next loop is used within loop structures to skip the current interaction and proceed to the next interactions of the loop. It is useful for bypassing specific condition within a loop without exhausting the entire loop. Right? Look at the left hand side here. So we have the coding for the next loop is the for and then the value in sequence. Alright, for and continue with the value in sequence. Alright, the curly bracket, if and then the condition. Alright, so we have the curly bracket and the next and also the two close curly brackets. So we look at the condition here. Alright, the condition is the logical expression if true, the next statement if execute, and the current interaction is skip. So this is the next loop.